Hello everybody, my name is Marcy Prinzi and I'm just going to take a few minutes to walk you through some support items regarding StrongMind and our Catapult online learning. First, I'd like to introduce you to some support personnel who you may contact with questions or concerns regarding different items with your child's online learning. First, if you have any issues with your Chromebooks or need support with that piece, please contact Keith at the email provided. If you have any issues with logging into your Catapult StrongMind account, please contact Darian at that email address, darian.gray@catapultlearning.com. Next, if you're having technical issues with the LMS itself, so that would be things outside of login issues, such as items not populating on the screen, something not calculating correctly, getting error messages with the StrongMind LMS, please contact StrongMind directly. That's success@strongmind.com. And finally, if you have any questions regarding your child's classroom, you may reach out directly to your classroom teacher via email or through the messaging system in StrongMind, which we'll go over in just a minute. Next, I'd like to discuss the iReady diagnostic assessment. Many students have already taken this diagnostic assessment, but if that's something that your child has not yet done, I have some items to cover here. All of our eSchool students will be taking this iReady diagnostic assessment online. Your username and password will be sent to parents and the email that was provided upon enrollment. The login can then be entered at this website here, https, and that's login.iready.com. And that's where you'll sign in for your child to take their diagnostic assessment. Just to give you the heads up, this is not timed. Students can sign off to take breaks at any time if needed, or if there's an interruption, you can pause the assessment. It's saved automatically, and that won't hinder your child's outcome or results for this assessment. Once your child is able to see the iReady lesson options at the end of the assessment, it'll populate some suggested lessons and activities based on the data collected. That's when you'll know that your child has successfully completed their assessment. You can stop there because we're actually not using the iReady curriculum for our eSchool this year. We're just using the diagnostic assessment. So once those lessons populate and those suggested activities come up, your child is done with their assessment and you can stop them there. Now, all students will be taking this assessment. However, some schools have already administered the assessment, and if your child did take this assessment already with their school, they will not need to take it again, as that data has already been collected and will be shared with us. Next, I'd like to go over the schedules. I have a couple of different examples here, and I'd like to address some questions that came up today. So this is an example of a schedule that your student may be following, depending on their grade level. First, the words synchronous and asynchronous you will find on each child's schedule, regardless of their grade level. And just to go over what that means, for all synchronous sessions, your child will be on Zoom with their teacher. That's face-to-face live online learning. Students will be able to ask questions, engage in discussions, watch videos, complete activities with not only their teacher, but also their other classmates. Asynchronous learning will be sessions or times during the day when your student will be working independently outside of the Zoom room. So teachers will create a list of assignments or activities for each day that students will complete during their asynchronous learning time. Though that still could be watching a video, completing an activity, doing a quiz. Many of these activities will still be online in our StrongMind platform. They just won't be done with the teacher there on Zoom face-to-face. If your child struggles with any of the activities during their asynchronous learning time, we encourage you to contact the teacher with questions and maybe put that activity on hold. We don't want you or your child to get frustrated if there are questions or concerns. But there is a chance that during that time, your child's teacher will be instructing other students in a live session, so they may not be available immediately, but please feel free to pause what your child is doing. If you have questions or concerns regarding the activity, reach out to your child's teacher and they will get back to you as soon as possible. But that asynchronous learning time will be structured by the teacher, but the teacher will not be present. So this is an example of a first grade online learning schedule. You'll see first graders in the morning have their synchronous session. So that will be with the teacher on their Zoom call. They'll do math, they'll do their brain breaks, their meetings, their ELA, science, social studies, all of that will be with the teacher. And then in the afternoon from the hours of 12:30 to 2:30, those students will be completing their ELA, math, science, social studies, asynchronous work. So those are the assignments given to them for that day to do on their own or with a parent. Here's another example of a daily schedule. So in our upper grades, you'll notice that the daily schedule kind of bounces from synchronous to asynchronous, depending on the time of day. So for our sixth grade students, the morning starts out with a synchronous live session with their teacher in ELA. And then throughout the day, they have asynchronous sessions where they'll be working on those activities and assignments provided by their teacher, and additional synchronous sessions in other areas such as math, science, social studies. So that gives you an overview of those titles, both synchronous and asynchronous, and how that will work within your child's day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your child's teacher regarding when they should be online and when they should be learning independently with the activities provided. So once your child is enrolled with StrongMind is the name of the curriculum that we will be using this year. You'll notice that it's on the Canvas LMS. That's the platform or the website that you'll be going to in order to access the curriculum. That is where both asynchronous and synchronous content will come from. You'll find that your child's teacher may supplement with outside resources that aren't found in the StrongMind platform. However, the majority of your child's learning will take place right on that platform, both when they're working with a teacher and when they're working independently. So once your child is enrolled, and that will happen on our end, we will put them into the system. You'll receive an email to the email that you provided, and it'll say reset password request. Now we understand that this can be somewhat confusing because you didn't request a password reset, but that's actually what the system generates. So what you're going to want to do is open that email, and within the email there will be a link. You click on that link to reset your password, even though you didn't have a password to begin with. Then you will see this screenshot here where it says reset password. It gives you your username. So when it says please choose a new password for, what comes after that is actually going to be your username. Type the password that you would like into the password box and into the confirm password box. Make sure they're both the same. Click save, and then your credentials will be all set for your child. That is what you will use daily to access the StrongMind curriculum for your child. Now that can be found here at this website. So it's the catapultlearning.strongmind.com. If you go there and enter your child's username that was sent in the reset password request email, along with the password that you selected and put in these two boxes, your child will be able to access their courses there. So once you go to catapultlearning.strongmind.com, you log in with those credentials. If you have not yet accessed the platform, you're going to notice that your child has been invited to join their courses. So for this example student, you'll see that he was enrolled in 2021 Mathematics Grade 3A as a student. And so to access that content, you're just going to click on this word accept here, the green box, and that course will be added to your child's dashboard. So this is the dashboard here where your child will access all of their content, all of their courses, and all of their activities. Now I'm going to switch over to the dashboard. Now we're live on the dashboard within the LMS for StrongMind. You'll see that I'm using the same student and they're enrolled in one course, which is a grade 3 mathematics course. Your child will see multiple courses here depending on their grade level, but they should see ELA, math, science, and social studies. If you do not see all 4 of those courses, please reach out to your child's teacher. The first thing I would like to introduce you to in this platform here, which is so important and helpful, is the help block found on the left. If you click on the word help and click get started, you'll find a very helpful video here that walks you through in about 4 minutes this entire LMS and platform. I'm not going to play it right now because the sound gets a bit muffled when I'm doing the recording, but I encourage you to start there with your child to watch that video and go over all of the ins and outs of this platform. I will navigate through just to give you some pointers and walk you through some of the key features you might need to use. So again, this is your dashboard here. And in order to access a course, you're going to click on the course name. And what you will find here is the entire content for your child's coursework. Courses are broken up by semesters, so this is actually the first half of your child's learning for the year. Once they complete this first course, they'll be then enrolled in the second half of the course. So in this case, it would be the second half of grade 3 mathematics. In terms of the pacing moving through this course, your child's teacher will set that for you. So by the end of this week, you'll notice that only some of the modules are accessible to your students, and they will access those based on the assignments that their teacher provides. Once a module is completed, the teacher will then open up the next module for learning. Now, the reason we're going to gate the course in that way is because some of the coursework, if you notice, we click on the word module 1, some of this coursework here will be used during their asynchronous times, so they're independent learning. So a teacher may assign one of these online practice activities for your child during their asynchronous sessions. And some of these may be used during their synchronous sessions. So we ask that you follow the assignment list that your teacher has or will be giving to your students each week to know what it is that they'll be covering during their synchronous sessions and what it is that they'll be doing during their asynchronous sessions. So if you see that your child has not yet completed something, it could be that they just haven't gotten to it yet in one of their synchronous sessions, and they will sometime during the week. I'm just going to click on one of these activities here. You'll notice that most modules contain at least one presentation. A presentation looks like this, with tables of contents located to the left. You'll notice that you can navigate through the presentation here by slides. There are a total of 7 slides for this presentation, and each title of each slide is listed here. So you can bounce around that way through the table of contents, or you could go in numeric order, slide by slide, down at the bottom where it says the number of slides with the right and left arrows. Another helpful tool here is the Learning Coach guide. So if you click on Learning Coach, you'll see that you as the parent has some helpful tools here to support your child. So there are objectives for the lesson. There are the skills that are needed for your child to be successful in this lesson, and then also materials needed. In addition, there's helpful vocabulary found within the Learning Coach Guide and other helpful information that will support you when you're supporting your child at home with this learning. Just going to go back up here at the top, you'll notice that there's a breakdown of the pages that you've gone to. So I'm in module 1 right now, but I want to go back to modules. I can just click on the word modules. So here it takes me back to the course, and I'm looking in module 1. As my child completes each of these activities or these components of module 1, you'll notice that there's a progress tracker. So for this first item, the presentation, you'll notice that there are activities embedded within the presentation. Now, these activities could be assigned synchronously or asynchronously. That is, these activities might be done together with your child's teacher during their synchronous session, or they may be assigned during their asynchronous work for your child to complete on their own. So that's why it's really important that we just follow the schedule that the teacher creates, because this program can be used strictly asynchronously. That is, a child could be given this curriculum and they could do it all on their own. But with Catapult, we're pairing with StrongMind to provide face-to-face synchronous instruction for your children so that they have expert instruction throughout the day, paired with asynchronous learning, times where they can work independently within the program as well. So your child's teacher will give you an overview of what your week looks like and what components of the coursework will be synchronous and what components will be asynchronous. So that is where you'll find all of the content for your child's coursework. Each module is broken down with various numbers of activities. There are quizzes, there's opportunities to take notes, to practice, to review content. There are videos embedded in presentations. So each module contains various forms of instructional practices for ongoing learning. Over here on the left, again, the dashboard is where your child will find all of their courses. They'll also find notifications and to-do items. Now, for the first couple of weeks of school, you can actually ignore your child's calendar, and I know that's a little bit confusing. What the system has done is basically just set up assignments automatically for the course that your child, or the courses your child is enrolled in. However, because we're doing a hybrid model where your child will be learning with their teacher synchronously and also independently on their own asynchronously, we're actually going to be following a different calendar. So as of right now, my recommendation is for you to follow the outline, the calendar, the list of activities that your child's teacher has provided, and to kind of ignore this calendar section until you hear otherwise. Another helpful tool here on the left is the inbox. This is your messaging system. If you do need to contact your child's teacher, you just click on this plus button up at the top where it says compose a new message. You can select the course you're referring to. You can type in your child's teacher, and for this course, Tina is my teacher. I could put a subject here, question about math course. I would type my message here and then send that to Tina. You can also attach an item, a Word document, or a PDF by this attachment button here. And this will be helpful for you to know and support your children with going forward, because there may be assignments that require your child to email their teacher, and they'll need to attach something to that message. So this is how they could go about that. They could go into this messaging system, type in their teacher's name and select their teacher's name. If they want to write anything in the message, they could do that here, and then they could attach that assignment. So that's not something that we'll probably be asking for the first week or possibly the first couple of weeks, as we're starting by just navigating through this new LMS and identifying the key features and starting to review the content. But once your students begin really completing these assignments and being asked to submit them, that'll be a helpful tool for you to know how to access. Again, the help block down here, I would recommend that you get started by watching this video, but there are also helpful articles found within the help block that you could go to that might answer some of your questions regarding the LMS. Just going to go back to the course here. Next, I just want to take a look at the syllabus. So at the top of the coursework, you'll see syllabus. That is where you'll find the course summary and the different activities that your child will be completing. So you can take a look at that. That's kind of a list of all of the assignments throughout the entire course. In addition, if you click on people, you'll be able to see other students in the class. So if there's another student in the class who you need to reach out to, you could do that through using the LMS messaging system. I'm going to go back to the course home here. Now again, for this first week, please do not worry about the calendar or the grades. So everything that's completed in this first week while we're learning the LMS and just beginning to access the coursework will not be graded. However, as we get into things and your student becomes comfortable with the LMS and we begin assigning items such as quizzes and activities, you'll notice that the grade book will be updated, and you can find those grades here by clicking on grades. So once you select grades, it'll give you a list of your child's assignments, and then their scores will be listed here along with their due date and submission date. If your child needs to access any of these activities, these are live links, so they can click right on the activity and that will populate for them. However, this doesn't have a submission yet, so you'll see that there's nothing there just yet and it has not yet been graded. But you can access the activities here and also add a comment to your teacher if you have a question regarding your grade or a question regarding a piece of feedback that was provided to you. That could be added here and saved. So that's just a quick overview of the dashboard and StrongMind, the LMS that we're using for our StrongMind curriculum. If you have any questions, I'm going to pull up again our help tab. Please feel free to reach out to Keith for Chromebook support, to Darian for StrongMind login support, success@strongmind.com if you're having any issues with the LMS itself, and then your child's teacher regarding an assignment or what's due or what your child should be doing on a daily basis. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. As more questions come up, we'll be doing more of these help sessions, so please feel free to share those questions. It'll support us all as we try to support each other through this experience of e-learning. Thank you so much.